scrolling for a moment, because the truth you are about to hear is not comfortable, but it might change the way you see your life forever. Everyone says they want success. Everyone says they want power. Everyone says they want to achieve something great, but very few people are willing to face the one thing that creates real strength: pain. Not the small inconvenience type of pain. Not the temporary discomfort people complain about every day. I'm talking about the deep kind of pain. The kind that tests your character. The kind that makes you question everything. Because real life does not care about your excuses. Real life does not slow down because you feel tired. Real life keeps moving forward whether you are ready or not. And that truth hits people hard. You see, most people love the idea of success, but they hate the process required to earn it. They want the reward, but they avoid the suffering. They want the victory, but they run away from the struggle. And that is exactly why most people never become powerful. Because strength is not built in comfort. Strength is built in pressure. Think about every strong person you admire. Athletes, leaders, entrepreneurs, warriors. None of them became strong because life was easy. They became strong because life was difficult. Every obstacle forced them to grow. Every failure forced them to adapt. Every painful moment forced them to become someone stronger. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the teacher. But most people never learn that lesson. Because the moment life becomes difficult, they stop trying. They blame their situation. They blame other people. They blame their past. Anything except the truth. The truth that growth requires suffering. But there are a few people, a very small group of people, who look at pain differently. Instead of running away from it, they use it. Instead of complaining about the struggle, they transform the struggle into fuel. Because they understand something powerful. Pain is energy. Pain can either destroy you or it can build you. And the difference depends on one decision. Your decision. Every painful moment in your life is asking you a question. A very important question. Are you going to break or are you going to evolve? Because life will keep testing you again and again. Hard days, unexpected failures, moments where nothing seems to work, moments where you feel completely alone. Those moments reveal the truth about your character. Because when life becomes heavy, your real mindset appears. Weak minds search for escape. Strong minds search for solutions. Weak minds complain about the storm. Strong minds learn how to sail through it. Now imagine standing in the middle of your hardest moment. Everything feels uncertain. Everything feels heavy. Your mind becomes quiet for a second. And then comes the pause. When life pushes you to your limits, when the pressure becomes unbearable, when the pain feels stronger than your motivation, will you run away from the struggle like most people? Or will you transform that pain into the power that changes your entire life? Listen carefully, because this is the stage where most dreams quietly die. Not at the beginning, not when motivation is high, but in the middle of the struggle. The part nobody posts on social media, the part nobody celebrates, the lonely phase, the exhausting phase, the phase where progress feels invisible. This is where life becomes brutally honest, because the world starts showing you the real price of your dream. Long nights, hard work, doubt, sacrifice. You start noticing something strange. People who once supported you begin to disappear. People who once believed in you begin to question you. And slowly, The voice of doubt becomes louder inside your own mind. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? What if all this struggle is for nothing? That voice is dangerous, not because it exists, but because many people start believing it. That is the moment where most people quietly step back. They stop pushing. They stop trying. They slowly accept a smaller life. Not because they wanted to, but because they got tired of fighting. But the people who eventually win understand something powerful. The middle of the journey is always the hardest part, because success is testing your patience, testing your discipline, testing your belief. The world wants to see if you are serious, if your dream is real or just a temporary emotion. That is why the struggle feels endless sometimes, because greatness requires endurance, not just talent, not just motivation, endurance. The ability to keep going when everything inside you wants to stop. And that ability is rare, very rare. Because motivation is easy when things are exciting. But discipline is required when things become boring, when progress becomes slow, when results take longer than expected. That is the true battlefield, not outside, inside your mind. Every single day your mind presents you with two choices: quit or continue, comfort or growth, excuses or responsibility. And those small daily choices quietly shape your entire future. Most people underestimate how powerful consistency is. They want instant transformation, but real transformation happens slowly, day by day, choice by choice, action by action. It's like building strength in the gym. You cannot lift heavy weight on the first day, but if you keep training, week after week, month after month, one day you suddenly realize something incredible. You became stronger, not overnight, but through persistence. That same rule applies to life. Your future is built by what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally attempt. Now imagine reaching another difficult moment in your journey. Another day where everything feels heavy. Another day where progress seems invisible. Your mind becomes silent again. Your heart feels the weight of the struggle, and then comes another deep pause. When the journey becomes long, when results are still far away, when the world stops believing in you, will you slowly lower your dream and walk away? Or will you keep moving forward and prove that your pain is building a strength most people will never understand? Now we reach the final truth. The moment where everything you experience finally makes sense. All the sleepless nights, all the silent struggles, all the moments when you felt completely alone. At the time, it felt unfair. It felt exhausting. It felt like the world was pushing you down again and again. But look closer, because something powerful was happening during those moments. Something most people never realize. Pain was shaping you. Every challenge you survived quietly built a stronger version of you. Every failure forced you to become wiser. Every obstacle forced you to become tougher. And slowly, without even noticing, you began transforming, not into someone perfect, but into someone resilient, someone dangerous to doubt, someone who refuses to break. Because real strength is not loud. Real strength is silent. It grows in the background while everyone else is distracted. The world may not notice your struggle. People may not understand your sacrifices. But that doesn't mean your growth isn't happening. Because the strongest people in history were not built in comfort. They were built in adversity, in pressure, in pain. That's where real power is created. Most people try to avoid pain, but the people who become unstoppable learn to respect it. They learn to use it because pain carries a hidden gift: clarity. When life becomes difficult, you finally see what truly matters. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing approval. You stop worrying about opinions. And suddenly your focus becomes sharp. Your purpose becomes clear. Your determination becomes stronger than fear. That is the moment a person becomes unstoppable. Not because life becomes easier, but because their mindset becomes stronger than the struggle. At that point, something incredible happens. The same pain that once tried to break you becomes the fuel that pushes you forward. The same obstacles that once slowed you down become the reason you refuse to quit. And the same dream that once felt impossible starts becoming real, not because luck appeared, but because you refuse to surrender. Now the journey pauses one final time. The storm becomes quiet. Your mind reflects on everything you survived. When life gives you pain, when the struggle tests your limits, when the world expects you to give up, will you let that pain destroy your future? Or will you turn it into the power that proves you were never meant to live an ordinary life?